They warned me not to speak to her. They told me she was dangerous, that even her words could unravel a man's mind. But no one ever explained why. When the shuttle from the Imperial cruiser docked with our mining station, the crew gathered near the viewing deck, their faces pressed to the glass. We weren't used to visitors, much less royalty. The Empress of Sereth had sent her only daughter, Princess Kalara, on a diplomatic tour of the outer colonies. And somehow, that tour included Orion 9, our forgotten refinery orbiting a dying red star. I remember staring out at the approaching vessel, sleek silver, marked with the curved sigils of the Sereti dynasty. It was beautiful, otherworldly, like a shard of moonlight cutting through black space. When the hatch opened and she stepped through, the entire deck went silent. The princess was tall, her skin faintly luminescent, a pale lavender glow that shifted with her pulse. Her eyes shimmered with flecks of gold, reflecting light in ways that made it hard to look directly at her. She moved with the gravity of a goddess and the sadness of a ghost. Captain Mercer was the first to speak. "Welcome to Orion 9, Your Highness. It's an honor." She raised a hand, silencing him gently. "Thank you, Captain," she said. Her voice was melodic yet heavy, as though it carried too many centuries behind it. Then her eyes swept across the crew and stopped on me. I don't know why. I was just a systems engineer standing near the back, holding a wrench I hadn't used in hours. But the moment our eyes met, something shifted inside me. Felt like static behind my eyes. Like the hum of a frequency I wasn't meant to hear. She smiled. Just a little. And that was enough to make me look away. That night, Mercer called a private meeting in the officers' mess. The princess and her escort were housed in the guest wing, and we were under strict orders not to disturb them. "She's off limits," Mercer said, his voice low but firm. "No one talks to her. No one looks for her. She's here for a short inspection, and the Sereti do not like humans interfering." "Why?" one of the technicians asked. She seemed polite. "Because," Mercer said, glancing at the sealed door behind him, "her kind doesn't experience time the way we do. The wrong conversation could break your mind." He wasn't joking. Everyone nodded. I did too. But that night as I lay in my bunk, I couldn't shake the image of her eyes. Twin suns flickering across galaxies I couldn't name. I tried to sleep. Failed. And then, sometime around 0300 hours, the door to my cabin opened. She stepped inside. Middle. For a second I thought I was dreaming. Her presence filled the tiny room with a soft violet glow. The air felt thinner, charged with something that wasn't quite electricity, more like thought made tangible. "Forgive the intrusion," she said softly. "I needed quiet." I sat up, heart pounding. "You shouldn't be here. The captain knows," she interrupted, smiling faintly, "and fears what he does not understand." She sat down beside me on the narrow bunk. The sheets shifted under her weight. My entire body went rigid. "You are afraid," she said. "I'd be stupid not to be," I admitted. Her eyes studied mine with an intensity that felt surgical. "Fear keeps you alive. But it also blinds you. I wanted to see what your kind hides behind it." I tried to look away, but her gaze pinned me there. "Why me?" "Because," she whispered, "you looked at me without wanting something." I swallowed hard. "What could anyone want from you?" Her expression darkened. "Everything. My voice can shape memory. My blood can heal or kill. My people call it the veil gift. To others, it's a weapon." There was a pause. A silence so deep I could hear the hum of the station's life support. She turned her face slightly, eyes tracing the bulkhead. "Do you know why they sent me here, engineer?" I shook my head. This system will die soon. Your star's collapse will leave only silence. My mother believes in collecting silences before they vanish, to remember what life once was. She sends me to listen. Listen to what? To you. The word hit me harder than it should have. I can't give you anything worth remembering, I said. She smiled just slightly. That is why I came. We sat there minutes stretching like thin glass. Then quietly she asked, "Do you believe your species deserves to survive?" The question froze me. "I don't know," I said finally. "We build, destroy, repeat. We dream of peace while sharpening knives. Maybe we deserve extinction. Maybe we don't." Her eyes shimmered with that golden light again. Honesty. Rare. She reached out, fingertips hovering near my temple. "May I?" Before I could answer, she touched my skin. It wasn't pain. It wasn't pleasure. It was everything. I saw stars being born, planets collapsing, memories of creatures older than human language. I felt her heartbeat echo through me. Thousands of pulses across thousands of lives. And underneath it all, a loneliness so deep it could hollow out a universe. When I gasped and pulled back, she withdrew her hand, guilt flashing across her features. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "It is difficult to contain." I stared at her, trembling. "What was that?" "Truth," she said simply. "What I am." The next morning, the captain summoned me. "I don't know what you did," Mercer hissed, "but the princess has requested you as her guide for the remainder of her stay." She requested me. She doesn't request, engineer. She commands. The crew stared as I accompanied her through the station. Everywhere we went, silence followed. Workers paused mid-task, their eyes wide. She asked questions about our work, the refinery process, the metal extractions, the orbit decay. But her real interest seemed elsewhere. "What do you dream of when the engines sleep?" she asked once as we stood by the viewing port, staring at the bleeding red star. "I dream of going home," I said. "To a place where things grow. Where the sky doesn't burn." She nodded slowly. "You long for soil and rain. I long for silence." That night she came again. This time we didn't speak much. She asked me to tell her a story, something human. I told her about oceans, about the sound of waves breaking over sand. Her eyes closed and she smiled. "Water that sings. I have never seen it. You've never seen the ocean. Our worlds are dry. Our people learn to survive without such luxuries." I laughed softly. "Then you've never seen children build castles that the tide steals away." She looked at me curiously. "The tide steals your creations. Always. And you build again." "Always," I said. Her expression softened. "Perhaps that is why your kind deserves to endure." She leaned in closer then, not touching but near enough that the air between us trembled. "Your mind is different. You do not reach for power when offered understanding." "I'm not sure I understand anything," I admitted. "That is why I trust you." Rising conflict. The third day, the station alarms went off. An energy surge, deep within the reactor core. A systems malfunction, one that could breach containment if not corrected immediately. We scrambled to the control room. The princess followed, despite the captain's protests. "This area isn't safe," Mercer barked. "Neither is the silence that follows death," she replied calmly. I dove into the console, rerouting power feeds, fingers flying over the controls. But the readings didn't make sense. The reactor wasn't malfunctioning. It was responding to something. And that something was her. The core's plasma output pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat, visible even through the glass observation chamber. "Princess, stop whatever you're doing," shouted. "I am not doing anything," she said, but fear crept into her voice. "It's listening to me." The room shook violently. Alarms blared. Radiation levels spiked. I grabbed her arm and pulled her back. "If the reactor goes critical, we're finished." Her golden eyes glowed fiercely. "Then let me comet." Before anyone could stop her, she stepped into the observation chamber. The light engulfed her. Through the glass, I saw her raise her hands, the energy swirling around her like ribbons of fire and light. The entire station groaned, metal screaming under the pressure. "Kalara!" I shouted, but she didn't turn. A blinding flash, and silence. Then slowly the alarms faded. The readings stabilized. The princess collapsed. I rushed into the chamber, ignoring Mercer's orders, and caught her as she fell. Her skin flickered, light dimming like a dying candle. "I held it still," she whispered weakly. "For now." "You saved us," I said. She smiled faintly. "Do not thank me. The core sings with my voice now. It will not forget me." When she was carried to her quarters, I stayed outside her door for hours. Mercer approached quietly. "You shouldn't have gotten involved," he said. "I couldn't just let her die. You don't understand. If she loses control, she could take this whole system with her." I looked at him sharply. "She just saved the system," he sighed. "And in doing so, she bound her essence to the reactor. That's not salvation. It's a countdown." Climax. By the 6th day, the red star began to collapse faster than predicted. The gravitational field warped, pulling debris inward. We prepared evacuation shuttles. But when I went to find the princess, her chamber was empty. Only a faint violet residue shimmered in the air, like starlight refusing to die. Then I heard her voice, faint but clear, through the intercom. "Engineer, come to me." Her signal traced to the reactor chamber. Ran. The moment I entered, I saw her, suspended above the core, her form half-transparent, light radiating from her in all directions. "What are you doing?" shouted. "The core's collapse has begun," she said. "If I do not merge with it fully, your station and your people will be consumed. There has to be another way." She shook her head. "This is my duty. My people warned you not to speak to me because our voices bind. I spoke to you anyway. And now my words bind me here." I stepped closer to the containment barrier. "Then let me help you." "You cannot. You are human." "I don't care." Her eyes softened. "Then remember me. That will be enough." The energy flared again. The star outside the viewport pulsed violently, then imploded, collapsing into a dark sphere. The shock wave struck the station. Systems flickered, but the core held, stabilized by her merging light. When the tremors stopped, she was gone. Only her voice lingered. "Do not mourn me, engineer. Every silence must be remembered. You gave mine meaning." Then the reactor dimmed to black.